This is the Tank 6 by FIFINE, and this is a USB Type-C microphone, but you can also connect it via XLR to an audio interface. And you do get a sample rate of 192 kilohertz, and you're recording at 24 bits, so you're getting a lot of detail in your audio. Now, with microphones like these, you are typically using these straight on, and I like that the knobs are on the top, and the labels on the knobs are the same orientation, and you are getting that volume rocker for your headphones, and you are getting the gain switch, so that way you can adjust the gain of the microphone if it's not high enough for you, or if it's too loud for you. On the bottom of the device, you are going to get the mute button. Now, that mute button is only going to work when you have it connected via Type-C, not when you have it connected via XLR. Now, on the back of the microphone, you'll get your XLR port, your Type-C port, and your headphone out. And what's really nice about that Type-C port is that you can connect it to your computer, your phone, or just about any device that passes through audio via Type-C without needing an audio interface. Now, in terms of the build quality, I do think that it is very solid, but I will say that my Rode Pod mic is still heavier than the FIFINE Tank 6, even though the Rode Pod mic is a lot more stubbier than it, but I think that the casing on the Rode Pod mic is a lot thicker than the Tank 6. All right, so right now I have the Tank 6 connected via Type-C to my Osmo Pocket 3, and essentially the microphone is acting as the audio interface because you have the gain knob, then you have the volume knob for the monitoring, and you also have the mute switch at the bottom. And you can't hear me now, but of course now you can hear me because I'm unmuted. And whenever you connect it via XLR, all that goes away. The buttons are not going to work, the knobs are not going to work because you have to use your audio interface to control all of those settings. So keep that in mind whenever you do connect it via XLR. It's not going to power the device like it would via Type-C. So this has been a test of the Tank 6 connected via Type-C. We're going to go ahead and switch to XLR and see if there's a difference in sound quality. All right, so here we have the Tank 6 connected via XLR to my Mo2 M4 audio interface, and I have the volume at around 80%. And you know, I thought I was going to need an inline preamp like this, but you really don't need it unless you want that extra volume boost, and you know, it's just an extra cost. And you know, maybe you want to hear this compared to something like a Rode Pod mic. Well, I do have one in my hand right here, and let's just go ahead and compare the two. So this is the Tank 6. And this is the Rode Pod mic. Now, I will say that FIFINE did send me this for free to review it, but I like the way that this one sounds with my voice, at least, because it has more low end to it, and I do have these around the same distance, so I do think that this one sounds better, the Rode Pod mic, at least for my voice. But, you know, everybody's voices are different, everybody's ears are different, so this one might sound better to you compared to the Rode Pod mic. I will say that this one is a lot more convenient because you don't need to have an audio interface, an XLR cable, a Type-C cable like you would with this, because you need a whole setup for this. But with this one here, you can just connect it to your camera via Type-C, your phone, your laptop, just about anything that passes through audio via Type-C. And your audio interface is the microphone because you get the gain switch, you get the volume rocker for the headphones, you get the headphone input, or the headphone out, and then you also get the mute button. So this is essentially your audio interface, and you just need the Type-C cable and headphones, and that is it. But you know, if you have something like this, which is the Rode Pod mic, then you would need an XLR cable, an audio interface, a Type-C cable to go to your device, and headphones. So it's a lot more things to lug around compared to the FIFINE Tank 6. So if you have been looking for a microphone like this to use for gaming, to use for podcasting, to use for Zoom calls, video calls, I do think that this is a solid option.